Not bad.
See, I was going to bring mine.
From Erie Zone Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Here we go.
I was just adjusting the picture.
I feel like I'm on a boat. Really. Well, here we are with my good friend DJ and, boy, are you into it. And Kaz Kwiatkowski, your city councilman. And real quickly, the rules are every subject is, on the table. You can talk about whatever you want. Just keep in the bounds of good taste. And we're going to our first caller. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Kaz.
Yes.
I'm calling about my residence at 522 East Avenue.
Okay.
I'm calling about there's a 100-year-old tree that's on the city property, and the tree is really rotten, and they have great big, probably 12-inch diameter, larger branches that's over my roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you could have the arbor lady take a look at that, see if they could remove the tree or at least cut those old rotten limbs that are over my roof. Because with that wind that we had last night, or even in the winter ice storms or anything, if that comes down, I'm going to have thousands of dollars of damage to my roof.
Yeah, I'm going to check on. I know we have responsibility in some areas there. I'm not sure how that exactly works, but I'll talk to her. It's right in front of your house?
Yes.
What kind of tree is it, do you know?
I believe a maple tree.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll see if, when on my way out here, I'll see if Sarah's upstairs. Either that or I'll leave her a message. And if you want to give me your phone number off the air, you can call me at 825-7601.
Yeah, a little while ago I called your residence. I gave you my name and my phone number.
Okay, it should be on there then.
If you find out anything.
Yeah, I was having a little trouble with the answering machine for a while, but it's back in business now. So if you want to, what I can do is either that or give me a call like in a day or two, and I'll tell you what she told me. I'll try to get you booked. Have her come over and take a look at it, because she'll have to make a determination if it's bad or not.
Yeah. And
I think we lost.
Attorney take a look at it, and he checked, and it's definitely on the city property.
Yeah, if it's in the front there, that little stretch of grass, that's usually ours.
Yeah, it's not in the front. It's right on the corner of 6th and East Avenue, where there used to be a A1 gas station.
Yeah.
On that side, facing Wayne, the big tree.
I see one went down last night. It was on the news.
Right. And see, that's why, I'm worried now, because that, like I said, it's better to have that thing cut down, or those large branches, cut down, better than having $1,000 to the roof in the house.
Yeah, I know we don't have a ton of money, for tree cutting. We have some emergency funds, but that would be up to her, and I'll make sure she hears about it.
Yeah.
And definitely, you don't want it falling.
Yeah, because like I said, if that thing falls down, the city is going to be responsible for fixing the house.
I don't remember how it worked years ago. My dad had one cut down, but I thought he paid for it, but, I'll find out for you, okay?
Yeah, there's like a park right beside my house, and that belongs to the city.
Okay.
Like I said, I called your number and left my name and phone number, and I'll give you a call in a couple days.
Okay, I'll go back and I'll try to retrieve them. I'm going through my old messages. I figured out how to get into the old tape.
Yeah, I just called, like I said, probably about 20 minutes ago to your house and left my message.
Okay, yeah, you would have missed me, but I'll make sure I call you. I'll talk to her, and if I don't get her today, I should get her tomorrow. I'll leave a message for her.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we lost a couple of trees last night. That was
Really?
Yeah, they can. But they're old, you know, some of them are 80, 100 years old.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
There's a bunch of those trees on 38th Street, too.
Yeah, do you remember, John? There was some, like alongside Perry School, there was some, and
Yes, there's a whole bunch of them. But the city doesn't have any money. They can't even pay for their own sewer damage.
well, we have money if we have to.
Now, they're going to have to spend money in court again.
For what, the sewers, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's happened before, John, if you remember.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't make sense. Just like with the ADA ramps. Cost $80,000 for them to go to court.
Well, I got to find out what that's all about, because
They're making ramps that are inaccessible. They're not usable.
no, it didn't sound like that, John. What it sounded to me in the article was there's a disagreement about
With the people in some of the ramps.
when they're putting them in.
That's what I've been screaming about, how they're putting them in up here in Southeast area.
Yeah, but if you saw what the state did,
Well, you
and
see
somebody-
what our engineers do, too.
well, somebody told me there was a reason why the state does not pave all of, like what they were doing with East 38th,
Yeah.
because that's not a triggering event.
Huh.
And if you don't trigger an event, like if you were to go in there and tear up a street like they're doing on, well, where are they doing it now? God, right tip of my tongue.
They did Liberty Street again.
Yeah, they did Liberty, and they were doing, I seen them, they're doing I-90 and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so the state's out there doing some of the stuff, but if they take a whole street and they actually replace it, then I was told that's a triggering event, and they have to do
They redo the curbs.
right, even if they're not on the list, because what happens is there's a list that was agreed upon,
True.
and then what happens is the whole thing gets thrown a monkey wrench, where if we do a road, then all of a sudden we have to now add some that weren't figured in that concept.
Well, we got triggered events, the one on 24th and State. I'd like to see anybody use that ramp.
Yeah, well, you know what, here's the thing though, I'm going to ask again, but we hired a consultant to come around as an arbiter, like, and decide whether they meet, if there was any discussion, like a disagreement between our engineer and their people, because some places, John, you can absolutely not do what they want. You can't physically move buildings.
Yeah, they should take a study to see how many people with a wheelchair are using them.
Well, that's another issue. Like, if you go up realistically, I can't tell you the number of times I've seen anybody, you know, use some of them on my side of town.
Haven't seen anybody use the one in the medias on 38th Street.
And here's the thing, though. If you put curb cuts in, try walking from my house to Dairy Queen. You can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and just like those medios, if there's a corner, now they got to put one in the middle of a medio and it's never used.
Yeah, you mean the one in the middle of the block, like?
Yeah, it's a waste. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. Let me get going.
It may be, John, but we got sued, and that's what. See, I'll let you talk. I just don't think the article explained enough of what's going on. It's not just about we're not putting them in, but they don't like when we're putting them in.
So that tabloid Harvey gives you the correct news, anyways. But on North Coast garbage.
Yeah, I went by there today. I was disappointed.
Very pleased. It looks very clean down there.
Today, but what's that pile west of them, John?
West of it?
Yeah, is that theirs too? Like they cheated, or is that?
They use about 2 or 3 trees, but they haven't had any out since this last garbage pickup. So maybe Mr. Milwaukee got the message and talked to his tenants.
Well, I did. I made it evident to 2 people, and so if that happens, I got to thank them then.
Right. It looks pretty good. I'll keep you in touch.
But that one on the west, though, I just was up there today. There's like a pile to the west.
Yeah.
It's like, and it was so close to the property line. I didn't know whether they were cheating.
Well,
It's starting to look like Couch City down there again on 38th Street.
Absolutely.
And I got a TV at the top of my hill.
Oh, yeah, I see that. And there's some garbage up there too. Some furniture.
Yeah, Mr. Palermo don't want to clean it up, so.
Yes.
But boy, I broke my first rule. I promised not to mention any landlords.
We got to start naming them all. Let's get to that street cut that the gas company did with AWS.
Yes, I'm trying to get to talk to the engineer about that.
That's a wonderful job that Tom Tushak did. Not John Tushak, Tom Tushak. He must have been the contractor.
Mm-hmm.
And by God, the city ought to get him to do the patching because you can't even tell where it was cut. He did an efficient, excellent job. And I stopped and talked to his son. His son works for him also, and I told him, tell your dad he did a great job. He ought to talk to his brother who works at City Hall. Maybe he can get him a few more jobs.
Hey, we got to get together. Remember, you promised me. We'd take a little ride.
And, the curb cuts, we talked about that. The sewer backup to where the city's being sued.
Hey, would you notice, I'm telling you, I was amazed how many of these, I tell you, when it rains heavy, I don't know how people can get through some of these curbs.
Well, my God, the whole thing there with that and with the sewer, don't they have testing units to see if those are broken?
It's not only that, but I think some of the problems caused by the curb cuts too now.
That could be.
The water can't get to the drain sometimes.
I'm really disappointed with City Council. Of course, we got the authority anyways to give $3.5 million bond to the parking authority.
Wait a minute now. You're mad about that?
Yeah, I'm mad about it.
Why?
Well, they're going to be paying on a $3.5 million bond. With, by the time the 20-year bond is up, they're going to be paying almost $6 million.
Yeah, but...
Why don't we lend them the money out of the water fund and let...
No, there you go again, John.
No, he's right, though.
No, he's not. No, you guys are both...
No,
you guys are... I'm telling you what, I'm going to get both...
We're old people now.
All right.
We're getting old now, and how much time do we have left?
See what you start... Hey, John, here's the thing. Parking Authority has never come to the city...
I know that.
Never once for funds. They have paid off their debt.
That's true.
They ran into a little difficulty because when they're doing these old ramps over again, there was a little shortfall.
Well, they're losing their revenue because your insurance billed that ramp.
Yeah, and you can't stop private business, but,
No.
I mean, they're still doing good with the
Oh,
hospitals.
yes, there's no doubt about it.
The problem they got, John, is those ramps are like, you take the one right here by City Hall. Do you know how many times that's been rebuilt?
I think it's been redone twice.
No, more than that. At least 3 or 4.
That's because of the salt they use.
That's true, but that's the oldest ramp in Erie, yet it's still structurally sound. The problem is, they have to, they pay us too, by the way.
They have to do the relighting and bring it up to date. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, we just underwrite them. I mean, they've never been in trouble. If they ever get in trouble, it'll be because of, I'm telling you.
I do understand that, but why can't we lend them the money and we can make it instead of somebody else having a bond?
If I explain it so that guy doesn't get mad at me, the one that's going to call me right after this?
Yeah, right.
And say I didn't give you a fair chance?
You're working with the mayor.
Here, 10, let's say right now I checked. We have a little over 10 million.
True.
In that reserve account.
Right.
10 million, that's up to...
Okay. Yeah, but wait a minute. That was a lot of hard work to get it there. I'm going to tell you. We haven't touched it.
And we give up the ham for 25 years.
Well, they get, like when I started when I was controller, the council that was there at the time didn't realize, well, they probably did. They just started lending out of there, and that fund was down. We had a lot of money in there one time, a lot more than 10 million.
Yes.
And then everybody tapped into it.
Well, stole it.
Finally, they got some sense in them. They said, we after that, they made that loan to the convention center. They realized that that fund wasn't going to be around forever.
Well, that was all before Peter and Paul, or they were robbing Peter to pay Paul.
But we give the city, I think it's 4%.
Taking the money from the water department, not
Right.
authority.
You're right.
Taking it and balancing the budget.
Right. So now the water authority gives us some money.
Which school gave us in lieu of taxes? How much money?
What?
Didn't Gann just give us some money instead of in lieu of taxes?
I didn't read that. Did you, John?
What's that?
Did somebody just join the pilot
colleges?
program?
Then they gave so
Oh, I
much.
think that was St. Vincent's
Okay, that's St. Vincent.
going to get a reevaluation on their millage to reduce what they're giving to the city.
Oh, because they want to get the reduction in their assessed value.
I think they want a $2 million or $3 million reduction in their taxes.
Well, assessed value, right?
Yes.
Because they got an agreement with us. They pay 50% of what their assessed value is.
What's the
Right,
value
just
at?
like
What's the value at?
like Hammett was supposed to. And
I couldn't tell you, but like John said, they want a reduction. So It'd be simple. You'd have to go over to the treasurer's office, but you'd have to get all the properties they own.
Yeah, but I'm looking at you. You're the main guy.
I'm not the
Carry
main
the
guy
money.
with any more. Look, you'd have to find out.
Controller, you.
You'd have to find out all the properties, every one of them. They're not all real simple like the hospital. They have other,
But all the authorities aren't running good like the housing authority is.
Yeah, they do pretty good. John gives us money.
Great job.
Or Mr. Rand gives us money all the time,
That's true there.
And Whitey, when Whitey was there at the Parking Authority, they underwrote 2 of our large projects.
Yes, they did. And the whole thing, you don't have the people coming downtown using the meters.
Well, they're good. When they go to their new, they'll be having some good news coming up.
We're coming in with the card meters.
Yep.
A little late. They've been effective in Pittsburgh and New York.
Well, it's how you pay for it, John.
Over 2 or 3 years, and you can pay ahead of time and everything else. You pay your tickets in them. It's not sliced bread. This stuff has been around for years.
Up there, my timekeeper is going to tell me I got to kick you out, John.
All righty, I had one more thing, but
Well, you know what? Wait till later.
No, let him go.
I'll recall.
Okay, and I'll give you an answer now.
Still on the
So
ball.
listen to my answer. Okay, here we go again.
Here we go again.
And you never answered my question.
About
It's still on the table.
how are we gonna pay it? Which way will we pay it? Tax or a millage increase? That's what you
No, it was taxes, a millage increase. So tax or bond. Pick your poison.
Now, what about, now, I had some shops going out of town.
You're doing a lot of talking, but you got 3 weeks,
No.
almost 4. You only had a month, and you still. I had to make that decision
Wait.
in one meeting.
I told you to fix a hole 2 weeks ago on 37th and Sassafras, and that big hole is still there, and no one touched it.
You want me to call personally for you?
Yep.
What hole now? Where?
37th and Sassafras.
Have you called them too?
Nope,
Why not?
'cause I'm waiting for you.
No, why don't you're a citizen? You can call too. I'll call.
Yeah, but you stop and think all the bond issues.
37th is Sass a hole.
Right, there's a
Okay.
hole there. I
Look
got
it.
hell for it.
Let me explain to you about that. That fund has $10 million, okay? We give the city 4%, I think it is, every year for capital improvements. That we feel comfortable with. That's allowing the fund to grow at a nice steady pace. When the fund gets up a little bit higher, then a decision will be made about possibly giving them a little more for capital. Now, when we give them for capital projects, read into that anything you want. That's roads, that's purchases of equipment, okay? That's what that water reserve was designed to do originally. Unfortunately, a lot of people tapped in there. It's easy, and you fell into that trap. Here's a trap that government falls into all the time. Ooh, we got $5 million in the Gulf Fund. Remember those days? We got, I'm just making up figures now, $20 million in water. $10 million in sewer. Let's see, well, we won't raise taxes. We'll take this out of here, this out of there. Yeah, just the Mill Creek system. What are they doing now? They're starting to raise taxes, right? So you rob your surplus, you rob your reserves. It's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time they're going to have to get a
You know,
fire department there too. And
Yeah, but I'm saying, as long as your things are going well, okay, you can do that. But at some point in time, when you start taking out more than you're putting in, when the increase, you ever hear this term in business? It's increasing at a decreasing rate. That means the curve is starting to taper, okay? If you don't stop it, then it's very easy to say this year, okay, we got 10 million. Well, we'll give the parking authority 3. There's 7. What'd the mayor want? 3 more this year too? We'll give him 3. 4 million. Oh, that's what we got, 4 million left. Now, you've lost $6 million in the ability to generate interest in that fund, okay? Because you lowered your principal. Now, that 4 is nice, okay? You'll probably get the 3 back from the parking authority in time, okay?
In that parking authority.
But are you going to get the $3 million back from the city? Do you really think in the shape where so basically what you're saying is, okay, take that 10, forget about the parking authority. There's 3. Now we're down to 7. Oop, next year we need another 3 maybe. Oh, down to 4. How many years?
How many years to pay all that stuff back?
Yeah, but I mean, what if they don't pay it back?
Yeah, but you're paying 100% interest just about.
Look, nobody likes bond issues.
That's
Nobody.
the bad part.
Nobody, okay? But you don't rob every dime you got. You know what? One of the big mistakes government makes all the time. Every time they get a windfall, we sold the golf course, right? You sell the water department. You sell this and that. You sell. What do you do with the money? The prudent man puts it away, right? Not government. What do? Cover up your shortfall instead of facing the problem. Go ahead, caller.
I just had a couple questions. I'm not sure about the sidewalks on 839 West 8th Street.
Okay, what about them?
Okay, I was just wondering, like, is the city responsible for replacing the sidewalks if they're messed up, like say, like when the cars drive up on the sidewalks?
No, usually, I feel confident in saying this, and I will double check. Sidewalks are the what do you call it? The responsibility of the homeowner or the property owner. Because when they first put in, they're put in by the builder or the person that owns the property, and you have to replace them at your expense. Now, once in a rare moon, you'll see, like they did on West 18th Street, they got grant money,
Big grant money.
and they went through there and replaced the sidewalks.
And curbs.
But there's no. I think the basic obligation is on the property owner, and they're not allowed to park on the sidewalks.
I thought they're putting sidewalks in too.
Can you hear me? Okay, ma'am?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll try to find out, but I do believe it's the responsibility of the homeowner. And if they're parking up on the sidewalk, that's not. You can't block a sidewalk. And that's 839 West 8th?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who's blocking it, or?
No, I don't. I was just calling in just to ask a question because I didn't know.
Yeah. If they're breaking up the sidewalk, that's a problem. That's why. Well, not only that, they don't want you blocking it because that's the sidewalks are for the convenience of the people, to traverse the community, especially the school children.
Okay.
But thank you for your call. If you want, I'll check into that rule, and you can call me on the show next week, or I'll announce it for you.
Okay then.
But I'm almost sure that from what I've been, even in like my dad had to replace his sidewalk a long time ago, and when it gets old and it starts breaking up.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure because I the sidewalk before, but I just wanted to make sure that that the city doesn't have to pay for it or the homeowners have to pay for it, because I just wanted to know what the big deal was.
Yeah, usually it's a homeowner would have to pay. And they used to, in the old days, they would actually go around and check sidewalks for the ones that were crumbling or lifting.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
So my quick question is, what if I own a property and I don't
Yeah.
want to put a sidewalk in?
There's an ordinance that says you must. I know you're going to ask me the
No,
big
I
question.
don't want to ask any more questions.
No,
It's-
I know. He and I know the answer. The answer is it's not enforced like it should be, but it's there on the books.
When you got your next city council meeting? I'm asking.
No, when is the council meeting?
Next meeting.
Wednesday.
Are you going to bring up about people not cutting their grass and have the city come in? The people want someone to get the city come in and they charge the people that have the bad properties that don't want to cut grass.
They're supposed to assess them when they're, when they put a lien against the property when they cut it. The trouble is the grass is getting so much of it now. We could send the kids out, besides the kids cutting our property, they're just, last year they couldn't get it all done. It comes down to, what do you call it, personal pride, which is not there no more.
No, there is none whatsoever.
I mean, I had 3 on my block, and I turned 1 in because it obviously was, and the other 2 were owned by, they're being sold, so, who's going to do it? Maybe we need to pass an ordinance that either a property owner or the realtor or somebody's got to take care of it, But there was a movement, you'll laugh at this, there was a movement going around that the new theory is that natural growth is good. Oh, yeah. That's the new...
They'd like the house next door to me then, because they abandoned it 3 years ago, and the backyard is like a forest, and the front yard looks terrible.
My neighbor went away, and you'd be surprised. All of a sudden, you got like a woodchuck setting up residence there, for,
Yeah.
if you don't got no activity. I mean, the other day I saw 3 skunks come out of a sewer near it. It's not funny because, you get them under your property. You like Jimmy Thompson used to joke, you can club them or drown them, but you can't shoot them in the city.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get a club? And can you imagine that?
I think
All the feral cats in my neighborhood have moved into the house next door that's been abandoned for 3 years.
We got some
I don't know
issues.
what we can do about this.
We got some issues, you got
a lot of
abandoned
issues.
property. Yeah,
in that 21st by a block, east of Parade, 21st had a fire, and I think them people are still in that place. 21st.
they're still in the place.
I'm pretty sure I see curtains there or something.
I was told by, I want to tell you who told me because they'll get in trouble, but it's probably true. When these houses are abandoned, all of a sudden they get reoccupied.
Well, there was a kid.
Under the radar, you know what I'm talking about?
There was a kid up on Marion Street. The guy worked at the water department. He passed away since then. So his wife left the house, was going to sell it. So this one kid was watching this girl across the street. Didn't have water, no heat. He lived in there for about 3 months.
They hook up hoses to the next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Okay. When are we going to get a new chief of police?
Well, that's up to the mayor.
Don't even go there.
Yeah, I mean, if that decision is made, that's a mayoral one.
It is?
Yeah, council does not appoint the chief. It's under the third-class city rule in our charter. The mayor appoints them.
Just flip a coin.
What?
He's a nice man, but I think he's a little too old for the job.
Wait, that hurt.
That hurt real bad.
That hurt a lot of us, but yeah.
Yeah. Not the old folks up, except for
Was
the
there anything you want to, you don't like his policies, or?
He just has different ways.
Yeah, it's.
Too much.
I think a lot of people are getting frustrated because they're watching the city, flip before your very eyes,
Yeah, I know. That's a tough job, I know.
I mean, I get frustrated because we were talking here about, people don't take care of the property. You got kids with guns. The police stopped a car the other day, and out of 3 kids, one of them had a pistol. The only kind of pistol we would have would be a cap gun when we were kids.
You ain't kidding. And if we had the gun, we get a boot right in the pants from our father and mother.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah,
All right, guys, thank you.
Yeah, if you want to call me off the air, feel free. You can discuss some issues with me.
I got a lot of issues.
Okay.
I'll bring them up. But I won't give you. You don't tell me your name or anything.
Yeah, don't send that on the air. Your name.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye.
See, that's a problem in our form of government. Unlike the old days, when they switched the government, we are now we are legislative. The mayor is administrative. Mm-hmm. We sometimes okay things, but the decision is,
It's up to him, his decision.
Except what?
He's got the last word.
Well, that's the way the system was when the people voted for that.
The worst system they ever had.
Well, in the old days, the councilmen had the power. In some
They all went to
communities,
jail that time.
there are hybrids out there huh?
They all went to jail, remember that?
Yeah. He's right. There are hybrids out there where you can have what they call a manager. Now, it's very rare in cities our size. Some of the smaller cities, like Corey, could do this. They have a mayor, but Corey, by the way, is a city. The only other one in Erie County. I know, but Mill Creek should be one, but that's another issue. But you can have a manager where council basically hires them and fires them. Okay?
Biggest joke is county council. There is the biggest joke in government is right there.
Remember we had three supervisors?
Yeah, it was
Commissioners,
bad.
that's what it was.
It's really bad now. These guys don't care, don't think, like this communication system. A lot of people want it and a lot of people don't. Me, I think it's a big waste of money. Someone down the road on that, follow the paper trail.
Well, I think the problem we have with the county, they don't realize that we're part of them.
No, they think they're above everybody.
I was listening to this talk show the other day, and the mayor was on there, and
Oh,
they were ripping.
Phantom?
Huh?
The Phantom?
Oh, come on now. You know. So anyway, they were cutting. They were saying how county gives so much money to this, we give so much money to that. What they forget though is all money, and finally some people. I don't know if they're listening to me but I've said it for years. I call it the pants theory. A man's pair of pants has 4 pockets usually, right? And each pocket has, if you put money in there, is one city, one's county, one state, one's federal, right? All the money comes out of that same pair of pants. Okay, when you hear the government say, it won't cost you, Times News does this all the time. Didn't cost the city a dime.
Yeah, but you buy all these money we're getting for like, over here at the park there.
Yeah,
$1.5 million. Okay, that's federal grant, right?
Right.
Okay, after 3 years, the city has to take care of taking care of that after 3 years.
Oh yeah,
okay?
we were going to anyway though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So here you got a bus company, $90 million being thrown into the hop over here, $90 million, and after 3 years, we have to take care of it. Where the hell we can't pay the bills now? How are we going to keep that going?
Well, that's where the argument came up about them. Okay, they have a board that runs it. Okay,
Right.
Well, they're getting subsidized from grants. Okay, pass-through grants, and they're also getting subsidized by city and the county. We give them money.
Well, I know that.
Now, we give them money because there's a component that there's matching funds. Now, matching funds came up when they built Jarriette Ballpark. People forget about this. When they built the ballpark, the state says, yeah, we're going to give you, it was a $9 million project.
$9 million.
And I don't remember what portion they wanted matched. But we didn't have the money. And at the time, it wasn't a county thing, it was a city. We hadn't formed the Erie County Convention Authority. It was still under the city's domain.
Now that new hotel's underneath that now.
So what happened? Parking Authority stepped in and said, we'll build a parking ramp if they'll accept it. So they built a parking ramp behind 12th Street, in the Renaissance building, the old Baldwin building. That thing is not filled all the time. But they did that so that the state accepted that as parking for the ballpark, matching contribution. This is why I say, be careful about picking on a parking authority, you know.
But you just got done doing that ramp over here at Hammond Hospital, didn't they? How much should that cost?
I'll get you the number, because they're not done
You
yet.
can't be going every time and spending money. Erie's a distraught city, and everybody knows it. Now we're below 100,000.
They have to fix that ramp, because you can't allow them not to, if you allow them to, this one over here, there were a time when there were big chunks falling. You can't have that. Do you want to shut it down, or do you want to repair
Now,
it?
this building, 58, this building was built?
This one here? Sometime in the late 60s.
Yeah, I mean, they built it to design it go upward, and they can put a second, third story if they wanted to.
We don't need it now.
No, we only know what we got now. But we got to do something with this. You can't just take money, and then that comes time to pay it.
But here I'm saying about your project there, okay? We're going to keep the park anyway, but what they forget is that, you know, all money, whether it comes from Harrisburg or D.C., okay, or whether it comes from Erie County, it's taxpayers that put the money in there.
That's
They don't.
exactly right.
But you know, the Times forgets that. People forget that. You know, like the county. If they give money to EMTA, okay?
How much?
Look, I don't know what they get.
They have to do a bondage because they don't have any money as much.
No, but every year, let's say they get, I think they give them roughly like, let's say 300,000, okay, out of their budget. And let's say we give a couple 100,000 matching funds so that they can generate funds to keep their operation going. Okay, so let's just say Okay, we know where the 200,000 come out of our pocket,
That's right.
right? Now, where did the 300,000 come from?
County,
Okay, where did that come from?
from us.
Well, from everybody.
But I'm saying that.
So what percentage you think the city is of that figure?
Not the same.
The county is 200 and roughly 85,000 people. Okay? Now, we changed, but we were about 100,000. Okay?
We're 100,000.
So we're at least a third of that figure.
Okay, now we're below 100,000 population.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're what, 90,000?
We're
Let's say round figure.
99,400 or something.
Well, we're under that 100,000, but the federal grants and state grants are based on 100,000. Now we have less people, and now we'll be getting less money.
I'm not sure if that's relevant.
I think it is.
At 100, you don't just lose funds. I think the funding is a little different if you're in the 100,000 category.
You got more people.
But I think the mayor needs to challenge that because I don't believe that figure's right.
Or why don't somebody check it out and stuff?
Well, he's been ordered by council, not ordered, but he's been requested by certain council members, okay, at least one I know of that, in writing to challenge it. So we'll see. I'm sure the issue will come up.
Who does that study?
Well,
Now, is that going to be another payout?
the Census Bureau by law, every 10 years they do a formal census.
Right.
But every year, I remember one time they picked me at random, and they used me as a test study.
Oh.
No, you have to have permission to do this. What they do is they contact you and say, look, we pulled your name and we would like to track you for the next 10 years. So what they ask you, this is how they hold the thought. This is how they. Go ahead, caller.
I'm back like a dirty penny.
That's okay.
Well, you're talking about the census.
Right.
A lot of people, old-time people, and people who are illegal,
Yeah, don't earn on that census.
they're not on it because they're not giving true divulging of what and how many.
I knew that was true, John. My wife checked. The government releases census now from the 1920s and 30s.
Yes.
They're actually online now.
Right.
They release one every 10 years or so.
But see,
I
that's
checked-
the biggest problem. People think that the government is out to get you, and they're staying away from it, and you don't get a true census.
No, you don't. Some communities will actually send out people with the census takers and force them into the neighborhoods they want counted.
True, you have to start sending people that can interpret for them, too.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, John. They don't pay those kids very much, right?
I don't know. I had an opportunity.
Yeah, but do you want to walk around really in some of these neighborhoods alone?
Well,
Right?
I understand that, but that just happened in the last 5 years.
Oh, I know, but you walk up to Joe the drug dealer and he tells you, you know right away you're not going to get any information.
That's true.
But I think John, I know in the past they missed, like in my father's family, they missed 2 of the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Now that was 2 when we were 138,000.
Yes. And why was that?
It could have been language barrier.
Well, that's true. And it could be just like the voting machines they have today. You have all that with online, and whoever's taking the numbers down, they transpose the number.
Yeah. Well, in the old days they handwritten them, so they probably got tired and said, you know what, heck with it.
Yeah, and just like today, if somebody wanted to challenge the vote from the last election, what are they going to get? They're just going to get total numbers added up, and that's a dead-end street.
Well, sometimes you challenge them, they'll throw Erie back above 100,000 for a while.
Well, yeah, and the whole thing there is to show how much money they should give. And the trouble is, Erie isn't using the money for the right things. They're taking $250,000 and tearing down a gazebo when you got homes that need to be rebuilt.
Yeah, but John, here again, here's where the blame needs to.
Federal money.
Comes from the state.
No, well, wherever it comes from, and it was brought up on LaCorchik. I heard people, and Jimmy, I'll give him credit, now understands the problem.
I don't think he can understand.
Well, no, but I think he now realizes that, people think if we apply for a grant, we can do whatever we want with it.
No, you can't. It's directed.
That's why, what they have to do up at the other end, I mean, if they got money out there, we're going to apply for it. If we're going to fix up our park, the theory is we should have it. Why should Pittsburgh get it again?
The trouble is, you got to have matching funds.
Yeah, well, in some cases,
And that's where it murders you.
the matching funds is not always money. In the case of, like I said about the ballpark, we built a parking ramp through the authority, which there was a need for a parking ramp in that area, so they accepted it. But a lot of times it can be the use of your manpower, John, okay?
Yeah.
You know, the equipment and stuff. There's many ways to look at it, but I agree with you.
I think we should put retail in. We don't need parking ramps.
I agree with you, but you know what? Until they wait. Do you remember? I think it was probably under the Kennedy administration when they gutted Erie. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And the theory was, let's rebuild our cities.
That was Tool Hill.
No, I'm talking about the president at the time.
Oh, okay.
I think that was Kennedy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, what happened? We got involved in a little brouhaha in Southeast Asia, and the money shifted from all of a sudden renovating cities to the military power, right?
True.
And that's what, right now, you know, our money's being spent, let's face it, on terrorism and everything else. If that money was allowed to be brought back and used properly, we could rebuild some of our infrastructure in our cities.
Where's all that money from the
Billions
state?
of dollars that are disappearing with the CIA and all
Yeah.
this covert.
In the dark hole, you know.
Yeah, the whole thing there. One more thing before I leave. Let's start rotating the voting on city council.
Well, you know what? I can bring that up at the beginning of the year, and I tossed it out there, but nobody wanted to second it last time.
Should not be going A through Z.
Well, we can change that.
It should be fluctuated. This way everybody gets a chance to be first on the list and get on that hot seat, however.
Yeah, how we did at the school board was every meeting that rotated one person. So, you know, you for that day, you were number one.
True.
And I brought it up here one time, but
Everybody got panicky.
it didn't get no traction, you know.
Happy was Witherspoon because he's the last to vote.
Yeah, if you're Dave Brennan, you know, or you're one of the first,
You just rotate it.
well, like even me, I'm in the middle, so, you know,
So you start at one end and jump to the other end and rotate it around.
I have no problem with that theory. You know, that changes what I call, you see, what did Kennedy write, a book, Profiles in Courage?
Yes.
All of a sudden you find out, you know,
That's true.
yeah, you can't,
Over the bears that. And one other quick thing,
go ahead, John.
ordinances that are on the book
Yeah, okay.
are time to be revisited and filtered through, and you have an archivist there getting $1,000 a month. Let him go to work. Have a great day.
You know, I was going to tell John, you know, Ruby did that when she was council.
Yeah.
She went through all the old ones. The ones about chasing the streetcars
Yeah.
and
Nice.
spitting on the sidewalks and all that stuff. And there was a good reason for all that stuff. If you read the corresponding why they did it, there were health issues. There were, you know, chasing a streetcar was like kids on bikes were getting hit by
I
it.
don't even remember those. That's before my time and your time.
Well, barely before my time, because they were tore out, I think, right after, like probably the 50s or something, right after the war.
9 or 10 years old then.
Who? Me? No, I wasn't. You trying to make me older, or what?
That rule is still effective. We have streetcars again. They look like streetcars.
They're not the same one, not on the track, though.
I know.
What do you do with like the ordinances, you know? You know, it's strange, some of the ordinances are on these books, you know, once they're there, they never get rid of them.
Yeah.
No, it won't reinforce some of the ones we have.
Well, that's another issue altogether. I'll let you talk. Go ahead, caller.
Kaz, we're having our meeting tonight.
Okay, I'll try to get there.
You're available.
Yep, let me see. I can give you an answer.
Oh,
Got my handy dandy calendar here.
7 o'clock, same time.
I think, it looks like I'm okay.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
Because next month, we don't have a meeting next month.
How's things going over there?
Oh, quiet now, because the kids are gone.
Yeah, only their trash remains now.
Now the trash, yeah. The cars are all off the street. It's like the old days.
Yeah, it's even nice going to the breakfast place. You can get a table now, and
Yeah, you don't have the kids yelling, screaming.
Well, we have a reprieve until they come back in August. We have to enjoy this time now.
I think what I'm going to do next year, I'm going to get the DJ to build me these big speakers like the Army had. You know, when you went through the neighborhoods. We're going to play Led Zeppelin at 3 in the morning. No, they go to bed about 6, right?
In the morning, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll put them on at 6 o'clock.
Either that or use the start cutting your lawn at that hour.
Yeah, that'll get them going.
So, okay, see you tonight.
Okay, see ya.
What's going on in the Port Authority? I didn't get a chance to go last week.
I didn't go either. I
Why
haven't.
didn't you?
That's not my committee, so.
I thought that was your committee.
Huh?
I thought you were on the Port Authority.
No, I'm on alternate airport, parking authority, police, fire, and a couple others. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I think somebody on city council ought to stand up and support those people that had their sewers backed up. I didn't hear anybody from council say anything yet.
Well, first of all, nobody, when I was here as controller, I was much more in tune with that. Nobody left us a memo or anything like that. I saw it off the news just like you. And I will come to support for it. In fact, I never once blocked any of those bills from being paid. And I think, we'll have to let the legal process go through it. And then if those people aren't satisfied, they can have their day in court down here with us. And it's happened before where council took a stand before.
I think
Many years ago, I had a problem like that, and I was denied by the solicitor.
He makes the initial determination.
I called up Mr. Bagnoni, and he got a resolution passed, and they did end up paying my bill. But I think someone on council ought to stand up for these people.
How many people was it?
I'm not sure, several of them.
Yeah. I think most members haven't even been made aware of it,
Well,
except what we hear on the news ourselves.
if they read the paper,
I try to. I don't really get the paper. It's not factual, so I get my news from. I actually, check around here a little bit, but I will check on how many claims there are, and I will bring it up at the council meeting for you. Okay?
all right, thank you.
Okay.
Man, I think it's a raw deal.
Well, they will. Here's the thing. They have to. They investigate it, and if it's found to be a problem, of the city's making, they do have to take remedial. There was a barber shop, if you remember, about a couple years ago. I think it was on Buffalo Road. They had to take care. He had to remediate that. That was quite expensive. He lost his house, but his use of his business for a while, because he had his barber shop, I think, in the basement. And if you remember the storms of the century, I think Flippy was here.
30 years ago?
And we had actually had 2 storms of the century in a 3-year period or something. Which when Thompson was here, he was laughing, but it's not funny, it really isn't. So the best thing to do, you file your claim, hopefully it works. If it doesn't, you have the right to approach council or to take, private action.
Well, your insurance would have to go after them.
Yeah, and it's all about if the problem was known by the city, or if it's a fault of it's a fault of the equipment. It has to be determined, because cities generally, under acts of God, you can't be held responsible. If the storm, if the system is functioning as it was designed, and no system is perfect. Yeah, I was going to say, what was a good example of that?
But this was done a couple of years ago. They had the same problem.
If that was the case, I didn't see the news. It was that same.
21st and Green Garden.
See, like for a while there, if you remember Florida Avenue, remember they used to get flooded? You know where Florida is? It's down there by where Dunkin' Donuts used to be, 28th and Parade, like behind there. They were getting flooded, and what it was determined was, it was that giant parking lot that exists up on Upper Peach, Mill Creek, and all the water that's not going in the ground that's why you got those retention ponds up there now. And all that water was coming down, hitting into the sewer system, the storm system, couldn't handle it. So what they came up with, Mill Creek, I think, had actually paid to remediate it. It's where they tore up parts of East Avenue and, putting in these brand new piping systems. So a lot of times it's how the system was designed. And I'm not, I'm going to bat for anybody, but you design it for what you think is going to happen. Now, if you get something freaky, God forbid we ever had like a flood or something, then, all bets are off. But
Hey, did you ever check into Davison Avenue, east side there, off 38th, going down?
you mean take a ride?
No, have you been down that road? And when are they going to pave that this year? It's really a bad
I didn't
road. You were supposed to mark that down last time.
I know, and I didn't bring the list. I have the list.
I mean,
You call me at home, and I will get you the
How
list.
can I get you at home? Your phone's always filled up.
Call my home number. Okay?
That's always filled.
No, it's not. That one.
I get through every
I
time.
watched the Indians game. Yeah, he got through me. Watched the Indians game. I had like 5 phone calls.
That's
I
unusual.
froze. The ball was in the air. I froze it the one
5
time.
minutes.
Ball was traveling. I think it was a home run. And
Some of these, I don't even see streets being done in the city.
well, they have the list. Do you have a computer?
Yes, I do.
Go on the city website.
They had it on,
Yeah, but go on the city website. There's a map. You can bring it up. You can expand the
like
map.
Marion Street. We haven't been touched in 7-8 years.
I do know they're doing I found out they're doing I think 32nd or something, 31st, a couple of them up near where I used to live. And there was I thought it was 32nd, it was going to do a lot of it.
But we gotta get some streets done. I mean,
Well, once again, now okay, that gentleman wanted me to bring up support. I got to mark this down
38.
for sewer victims. Okay, now, before we give DJ his time,
Oh, I get the last minute.
DJ's done talking, and before we go off the air, you're going to give me an answer, or you're going to be exposed as the man who can't make a decision. So, DJ, it's all yours.
It's all yours.
I got nothing. No,
Nothing.
actually, I got stuff. I feel like Erie, is it true that Erie is kind of trying to do away with us making things and building things and go to a tourism?
No,
base?
I don't think
They've been
that.
No,
doing
you
that
don't.
for 30 some years.
Wait a minute,
It just
Make
feels,
this a tourist
this is
town.
my minute.
Okay.
His
I'm just
question
trying to
was,
help you.
his question
Yeah.
was, are we heading that? I don't think there's a conscientious effort to do that.
But it just it feels like we're sliding that way. We're losing all of the creative forces that made us Erie.
I don't think we're doing a good job. I mean,
We're not maintaining what we can do
Somebody-
to help people make and create things and actually make industry thrive in the city.
I think there's a realization that it's not going to be easy, and I don't think, and sometimes I feel like we got too many people firing shotguns out there,
Yeah,
and we're not focused on a target.
yeah.
We have an approach like a gentleman brought me the other day about how Rochester and Dayton were targeting businesses, like
Yeah.
going up there and going, hey, what does it take to get you here?
Yeah.
Specifically.
What
Hold your thought, because I want you to go on.
Oh, you got the floor.
Go ahead, caller.
DJ, I don't want to steal your time, but I'll make
Oh,
it short.
for you, anytime.
Only in Erie, Pennsylvania, when someone has come up with a new way to attack cancer, will we send that man out to sell submarine sandwiches to fund probably the most innovative cancer project that ever hit the United States. Only in Erie could you let that happen. And we did it. We did it, DJ.
Yeah, I mean, that man is one of the, the reasons I bring it up, because I feel like we need to be nurturing
Richard, what happened
creative things like that.
What happened with that project, really?
Well, I think it's out of our hands. I mean, I think somebody in Houston has it now.
Yeah.
You know,
It's overseas now.
it just.
There again, you're right, Richard. This was the one thing. This is like the Mayo Clinic to Erie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was, our claim to fame.
Mm-hmm.
It came out of here. I mean, I know they're going to do human testing here, they said.
Yeah.
But think if we could have made the product here even.
Right. And
and just got on that bandwagon. We could have been famous.
Difference, I think a lot of people tried, Rich.
Yeah.
But I think once the project got rolling, it got into the hands of, obviously you knew the testing wasn't going to stay here because we don't have I'm not saying we got dumb people here, but we don't have the big doctors and everything.
But they're sending that overseas, though, to have it done.
Well, it's because they want to hurry here, Richard, you'll agree with this.
What?
I always said this, if you're dying or you're sick, what do you care about government regulations? I mean, if the doctor tells you you're going to be dead in a month, right? Are you worried about whether you're going to get sick from the drug? I mean, what? And that's why they're going overseas, because they're less restrictive.
Like South Korea.
Right.
And another thing with DJ's thoughts, we're the Saudi Arabia of natural gas now, and we're also sit on a body of fresh water.
Yep.
Two things that would make any manufacturer almost drool. And we can't get anybody here. And I don't have any answers, but I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Economic development, it's on the fourth floor at City Hall, it's the regional chamber, it's everybody. They're not doing their jobs, Cass, and no one holds their feet to the fire. I know it's not easy to attract business, but we got water and natural gas.
Well, Richard, here's the thing. There's too many people with their hands in there. I mean, they're saying. I mean, you think they claim they get together, but if I was a businessman, I'd want. I brought up something to a local businessman, and you and I have talked about him. And I said, I often wondered why he didn't have a presence in the city. And you know what the answer was? No one ever asked him.
It doesn't surprise me.
And sometimes, you got to get. I used to tell him, you got to get off the deck in Niagara at the wine and cheese parties.
They all protect their little fiefdoms down there.
You got to.
And that only results in stagnation, and the community's suffering because of that.
Hey, I'm actually going to talk more about that next week. I'm going to take more of the floor next week because I have a number of things.
Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no, that's okay, because we're actually
we're looking forward to you coming on someday, too, again.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be down.
Hey,
maybe you come down and you and I can have a discussion and how we're going to
think of this locally.
Okay.
When was the last time a major... I mean, everything major used to come here. I think we got a little chance of seeing a Wegmans. No one's ever approached. Like I was up to Steak and Shake the other day, thinking, man, we could use one on the east side of town. Why aren't people? I
don't know, Cass.
I mean, it's like we don't have a concerted effort. It frustrates me because they call me. I've been pushing for a Joe's Crab Shack on the Bayfront, Well, I don't care who it is, but But I think DJ had a good idea, but I don't think people are doing it on purpose. I think they're taking the easy way out. They go, well, let's make it a tourist town, rather than work hard to get a factory.
How much money do they put in advertising for Erie?
Well,
they could take that money and go advertise and get jobs in this city. And these people that go get jobs at the airport now, they only got them little flights. Why don't they gonna go out there and get some of these smaller airlines to come in and say, okay, we're going to open up it?
We're going to pick more up on this next week because I'm going to really try to have some thoughts together. And
I will make a report on the airport because there is some progress there, but it isn't their problem. It's the airline problem.
That's exactly right.
All right.
But thanks for calling. Thanks for backing me up. We're going to talk next week.
Hey, Richard, you're going to hear a decision, momentous.
Yeah, we got like 15 seconds.
Okay,
so
here you go. Ready? Mr. Stemka.
Bond. No bond.
No bond. So you're voting for a tax increase?
Half the portion of the money, not all of it.
Wait. What are you hedging your bet?
Yeah, I'm
half bond, half.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
I don't know. We'll talk about that next week too because I actually have some serious questions.
What do you put syrup and butter on it there at the restaurant? It's corrugated. It looks like.
I don't know.
Like a pancake, but it's more...
Waffles?
Waffling.
Thanks for calling, everybody. We'll see you next week.
I'll go turn that off.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.